Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Rocket Chiro podcast, the business and marketing podcast for chiropractors. My name's Jerry. I'm your host. I'm a former chiropractor. I help chiropractors now with websites and local search. I help new chiropractors get started, stuck chiropractors get unstuck, and I host this little podcast. Today we're going to talk more about online reviews and just try to unpack just some structure, just some simple things that you can do to help you get more reviews on a regular basis. I think chiropractors tend to fall into different categories. Like some chiropractors just don't think about it at all. And you'll see chiropractors that have been out for 10, 12 years and they have, 7 reviews, which is a pretty good indication that they haven't really thought much about it at all. Next, you'll have chiropractors that are sort of the go and stop and go and stop and go and stop. And they'll listen to a podcast like this and they'll say, oh, reviews are important. And they'll give it about 4 to 6 weeks of effort, and then they just sort of fade away and fall into the pattern of just being a chiropractor, which is, I get it. I totally understand it. Chiropractors want to be chiropractors. They don't want to be, online review people and marketing people and business people. And I totally understand that. But that pattern of like, go, stop really does hurt you in the long term. Next, you have chiropractors that they'll farm out the reviews to software. And there can be benefits to software, and I'll talk about that at the end of this episode. But if you're just farming it all out and you're not doing any of this other stuff that we're talking about here, it actually is, it can be counterproductive. And the other aspect of it is, I don't think it's ever a good idea to take a human interaction or human experience and try to automate it. There are certain things that software is really good at. There are more and more things that software can be really good at. But some things, and I think asking for reviews and sort of the process of getting reviews, it's more of a human interaction than it is a automated interaction. And so I think that it can be a mistake to just farm all of that out to software and just wash your hands of it. I don't think that that's a great approach. The approach that we want to take as chiropractors is we want to have systems in place that just some structure that allows us to get reviews on a regular basis, and it doesn't require us to spend a bunch of extra energy and thought and time. Like once you establish some good systems and you have a good habit in place, you're going to be able to consistently add reviews, and you're not going to you're not going to have to think about it or worry about it. You're not going to have these ups and downs. You're just going to have that consistent progress, and that's really where you'll benefit from those reviews long term. Now, before I get too far into that, I do want to say, if you want a better chiropractic website, go to rocketchiro.com and check out our websites. If you want some help with local SEO, I do only work with my website clients, but if you want help with that, the website is the entry point for that, and I can help with local search if that's something you're interested in. If you want to go beyond the podcast, you're feeling stuck or you're just getting started, Chiropractic College doesn't really do a great job of preparing you for running a business. Next Step sort of helps with that. It just goes beyond the podcast, gives you some additional content. You get access to me as well, and it can just be a really nice resource if you're in that situation. Last thing I'll say is this: if you just want some additional information with me, you want me to look at your website and your local SEO, show you how you compare to other chiropractors in your area, I'll be happy to do that. You can request a website and SEO review at rocketchiro.com. It's not canned content. I look at your stuff. It's sort of like you getting your own little private podcast, and I'll look at your stuff, record you a video, send it over to you, and it'll be super helpful whether we work together or not. So all that can be found at rocketchiro.com. All right, so here's the things. Now, none of this stuff is super complicated, and I will say it works best the more of these things that you do together. The first one I think is probably the most overlooked as far as why it's so important, and that is you have to make reviews normal. And what I mean by that is if the first time when you ask a patient for reviews, if that's the very first time the thought has ever crossed their mind that people leave reviews for your practice, then you haven't done a very good job of priming the pump. Like you haven't done a very good job of setting the table. And the simplest way to think about it, and this is sort of a silly analogy, but if you loved pink, like loved the color pink, and you painted your whole office pink, like it was just pink everywhere, you don't have, like if 3 weeks into care, you told your patient, hey, by the way, I really like pink. They would be like, really? How would I have known? Like the office environment has made that very clear. Now that doesn't mean you have to have like obnoxious reviews all over the place and things of that nature, but you want to make, whether that's through, this could be posters, it could be signs, it could be little QR codes, it could be any number of things, but making it part of your culture and making it a normal thing is so helpful if you want to consistently get reviews. Next, I want you to introduce the concept early. So what I would suggest that you do is early in the process of becoming a patient, and you don't have to do this the first day, because the first day is about the patient. It's about helping them, listening to them, getting them started in the right direction. But on that second or third visit, once things have settled kind of out of that new patient realm, even like I am not a fan of asking for a review right out of the gate. The reason I'm not a fan of that is because the early reviews they don't move the needle like a review where someone has had the opportunity to benefit from care. Like early reviews are going to be like, doctor was nice, doctor listened, the staff was nice, the place was clean. I mean, those are better than nothing, but they don't really move the needle in terms of making someone's decisions. And they're not really keyword rich either. There's not a lot of value in them. They're okay. So I typically recommend holding off a little bit longer before you ask for a review, but I do think you should introduce the concept to someone very early. And that could just be saying to them like, hey, our goal is to give a 5-star experience for everyone. And at some point we'll probably ask you, we'll ask you for a review. You don't have to do it right now, obviously, because we're just getting started, but just letting you know that that's our goal. And if there's anything that we do that falls short of that, just let us know. We want to make that better. Like you're not asking for a review, and you don't have to, I'm just saying that off the top of my head, and you could come up with a script or wording that works well for you. But introducing the concept early is really important, because you're heading in that direction. You're trying to take someone down the direction of having a great experience and leaving a 5-star review. Now, part of the assumption of all of this is that you're not an idiot and that you're providing good care. So if you're not providing good care and you're an idiot, none of the rest of the stuff matters, because you can't make people leave a positive review when they have had a negative experience. So I'm sort of assuming that you're doing good work and you're not an idiot. So number one, make reviews normal, make it part of your culture. Number two is introduce the idea early. Number three is have a schedule. And so what a schedule would look like is maybe on that third visit or fifth visit or 10th visit, you're going to ask for a review. Maybe it's on a reeval, you're going to ask for a review. But just whatever that structure is that works well for your practice, you need to have a plan. Don't just sit around and wait. Have a plan that okay, on this visit, I know that we're going to ask, unless for some reason we know it's probably not a good day to ask. Sometimes it's not a good day to ask, but just have a plan, have a structure. That way you don't have to think about it. You just know that, hey, it's the 5th visit, we're going to ask for a review. Or it's the reeval, we're going to ask for a review. So have a plan. You also may have a time of year where you say, during the summer, we reach out to all of our people and ask for reviews if they haven't left a review. Maybe that's an email, maybe it's a text, whatever that is, but we just do a bulk ask. You might do something like that once or twice a year as well. And so that's what I mean by you have a schedule. The one thing that should be a part of your schedule, or I guess maybe just a part of your habit, would be that what I would consider those low-hanging fruit moments. Like anytime a patient comes in and they're telling you how much better they're feeling, how glad they are they found you. You get those compliments all the time as a chiropractor. That's low-hanging fruit. That should be a signal to ask for review. That should be something that you and your staff, everybody knows, hey, when somebody says something positive, that's the time to ask for a review. So that's what I mean by have a schedule. So it's going to look something like that or some variation of those things. Number 4 is ask in person. Now, I'm not opposed to software. I'm not opposed to sending out a text or emails and things of that nature. I'm not opposed to asking on social media. However, nothing is more effective than asking in person. And so especially when you have those low-hanging fruit moments where someone's having a good experience or they're having a good day, ask in person. And I wouldn't leave it there, because the next thing is texting people their link. And so if you've asked them in person, hey, would you leave a review? And they say yes, then part of that process could be, hey, I'll go ahead and text you a link that'll make it easy for you. Or you could go on to the other stuff, which is having tools in the office to make leaving a review easier. Things like review cards or review signs. My local SEO clients, I typically design, they just look like business cards. And all it'll do is, it's super simple. They'll have their logo on one side, and if you flip it over, it'll just say, please share your story on Google, or please review us on Google, or something like that. And it has a QR code. That's it. It's super simple. You could design one yourself. You don't need somebody to do it for you. And what that will do is when someone says yeah, I'm feeling great, or you have that reeval day, or you have that 4th or 5th visit ask, when you ask someone to leave a review, you could hand them that card. Now they have a physical reminder and they have something they could scan to just make it easier if they wanted to do it later that day or in their car or whatever. You could also have a sign. This is something that Strat Polson talks about. He gets tons of reviews in his practice, and he's just really good about doing these things. Like there's no like magic to what he's doing other than doing good work and doing a lot of these things. One of the things that he talks about is just having a sign. And I even asked him about was there a particular sign that he liked? And he said that he got his on Etsy. And it's just a little sign that you put in your office that has a QR code on it and it says, please leave us a review on Google. Some of them have like tap functionality that you can, I forget what that technology is called, but you can tap your phone and it'll go to the link, or get your phone close to it. It'll go to the link. I don't know that that's necessary. I think it's fine if you want it, but a sign like that is going to be, I don't know, $20, $30. And you could have it on your front desk, or you could have it next to your adjusting area, or, on your desk or something like that. Those things make it so much easier. So if you combine tools to make it easy, and you're asking in person, and you have a schedule, and you're introducing the concept early, and your environment in the office, the stuff you're posting online, the stuff you're putting around the office, like, thank you for leaving us a review. We want to have a 5-star experience. Like, here's a review from one of our patients or multiple of our patients. If you're doing all of those things, you're going to get reviews on a regular basis. And the crazy thing is, like, I haven't said anything that's complicated. This is all simple. You just have to do it. And you just have to make a habit of doing it. And you're going to start seeing those reviews roll in, and they just snowball over time, where it's like 6 months of doing this, a year of doing this, 2 years of doing this, 3 years of doing this. Time goes by quickly when you're in practice. Time goes by quickly when you're not in practice. I mean, time just goes by quickly. And when you first start doing this, you're like, oh, it's I got a couple of reviews, blah, 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 whatever. Well, then it's like you wake up one day and it's 5 years later, and you've been consistently doing this. And now all of a sudden it's like, wow, I got more reviews than everybody else in my area. Or I'm one of the top chiropractors in my area as far as reviews go. This is one of those things that you're just glad that you did 2 or 3 years later. And I know for some people, it's really hard to think that far out, but just doing some of these really simple things, just implementing them in your practice and being consistent about it, you're going to benefit from it so much 2-3 years from now. Now, what about reputation management? So reputation management software, stuff like Review Wave, there's also other softwares. There's plenty of stuff that's out there that's like that, where they're just going to send out like, I don't want to say spam text because that's not the right word, but they're going to send out like a bulk text to your patient, like to a list of your patients, or they're going to send out, like if a patient comes in, if it's connected to your patient software, somebody comes in for a visit and then they get a text afterwards that says, hey, how was your experience? Please leave us a review, whatever. I do think that it can help with consistency. I think that that's probably the biggest thing of the software is like if you're farming this out to somebody else, you're farming out your ask to someone else that's going to send out that text. I think that can help with consistency. It doesn't at all take the place of asking in person. And I've done this for clients before. Like I have a software that I've used that they can send me a list of their people, and I can send out text requests just saying, hey, Dr. So-and-so would love for you to leave an online review. And I'll manage those and just keep track of who left a review and take them off the list or make sure they're off of it. Send out, just manage the whole thing for them so they don't have to worry about it. And it's fine. It works fine, and it works well to send out those texts and send out those links. I've already told you to do that. However, if you're not making it normal in your practice, you're not introducing the concept, you're not telling people they're going to get a text, you're not asking in person and taking advantage of those low-hanging fruit opportunities, just sending out texts with softwares is a little bit dehumanizing the experience, and it doesn't work as well. It works well if it's in complement with everything else. Is it necessary? No, absolutely not. Like you do not need to pay $300, $400, $500 a month for reputation management services or software in order to get more reviews on a regular basis. And the warning I would have for something like Review Wave is if that's set up to send out a text every single time a person comes into your office, and some of them are set up that way, that can actually be counterproductive because you start a person starts feeling like they're being harassed. And so there's a little bit of a cautionary tale that's there with software. Can it help? Yes. Is it worth it for most chiropractors? I don't think so. I think you're probably better off just doing it in-house, doing a good job, and getting more reviews. Now, if you want help with other stuff that's SEO wise, that makes a lot of sense because it can be really complicated. But this part of it, even my local SEO clients that I'm doing, I'm trying to help them in all different ways with local SEO. Like, I'm usually bugging them about this stuff and being like, hey man, you got to be serious. Or I shouldn't say, hey man, because I have female clients too. Hey, you, you have to be serious about getting reviews. And this is how you do it. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing the podcast. If you want to leave a review for the podcast, you can do that in Apple Podcasts. If you want to leave a review for Rocket Chiro, you can do that. There's a link in the footer of rocketchiro.com. It goes to our Google page. I don't really put a lot of emphasis on that just because I'm not really a local business in that way. So I don't really benefit from it the same way you guys would. So don't look at my stuff and say that's what you should or shouldn't do. Like I'm not a local chiropractor, so it's a little bit different. Anyway, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.